to Hemp Foundation Talks, where we listen to the heartbeats of the hemp industry and learn the celebrations, challenges, and discoveries from hemp leaders and advocates from around the world. I'm Rebecca, International Business Officer with the Hemp Foundation and your host. Today's guest is Caleb Kauffman. Caleb was born and raised in the rolling hills of Lancaster County, Pennsylvania. Caleb's passion for hemp comes from his own life experiences in his 30s. He was diagnosed with PTSD from childhood sexual trauma. Since remembering this over 20 years later in life, he has been on an intense journey of love, acceptance, vulnerability, perseverance, and a belief that at the very source of it all, that it is good. Cannabis has changed his life. He first started using CBD and THC a couple of years ago and immediately noticed improvements in his mental life. At the same time, Caleb started going to counseling to work through the trauma. Together with cannabis and counseling, he began the beautiful journey of healing. Caleb's heart is to grow hemp flower with love and care because that is how cannabis has cared for him. His goal is to help save the planet with hemp. He truly believes that this plant can completely change our life and how we interact with nature. Caleb has found a sacred work in being passionate about the cannabis plant. His hope is to grow some of the best hemp flower around and help others find healing in the process. Welcome, Caleb. It's so great to have you on our show today. And I just, you've been an inspiration to kind of see what you're doing for the farmers in Pennsylvania, specifically, the Amish population and how you've kind of gathered a community together. I would love to start, just maybe share with us a little bit more first about your journey into hemp, like what motivated you to get started.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's nice to be here and chat. It's always good to kind of share a little bit of the Lancashire story. So I guess it kind of starts with my personal journey. Gets kind of heavy right away, but I think it's important to share. My late 20s, I was just living life, doing business, and basically remembered that I had been sexually abused as a child, something that my body brain had disassociated with, as a protective measure. So that kind of came back into, my mental landscape and started going to counseling to, just deal with that trauma, find the healing that I needed. That's when I was first introduced to CBD, and man, what a great plant-based medicine. I'm very all natural. So I started using CBD with, the recommendations of going to counseling. And it was a really big switch for me, really helped change my mental landscape, and just gave me words to, put to emotions and experiences. And it just really changed my life so drastically that I knew that I had to get involved with the hemp industry. And that happened right around 2018 when the Farm Bill was signed. So I quickly, got a permit and jumped into starting as a micro grower here in Lancaster County.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So that's 2018. We're in 2022 now. So
yes.
How has it been from getting started to growing and cultivating to bringing that into the marketplace? What have been some of the biggest lessons that you've learned or challenges that you've kind of faced along the way?
Yeah, the first year was great, a little grow, and I started the Lancastershire Brand website. But what I realized was, man, it's really hard to do this as an individual farmer, just like kind of the little guy. There's a lot of competition. You've got your corporate companies and just lots of other farmers wanting to, be a part of this new industry. So I was looking around locally and noticed there was a good group of Amish men and guys and farmers that were doing the journey of hemp. So I met up with them and said, hey, what if we got together, we did a collaboration. I've got a good brand. I can be, more of a marketing arm because that's not the strong side of, what the Amish community represents. So it was a good match. So we all came together in 2020 and I had about 15 Amish farms grow under the Lancashire name. And since then, we've just been trying to monetize the crop, which has been, a tough journey. And that kind of morphed us into, where we are now as a company, putting out quality products for people to, be able to use in their mental health journey and their just experiencing CBD and other cannabinoids. So really the shift focus to say, all right, we can grow this stuff as farmers. Now we need to help get it out there so we can actually support local farmers. And that's a lot of what I've been putting my time and energy into in the recent days is, how can we continue to build this local industry to support real farmers?
Yeah. So you've had about 4 or 5 seasons so far?
I guess this will be number 4. Yeah, this will be
Number
the
4.
4th planting season.
Awesome. And you've
Yeah.
got a big group of farmers. How many different farmers are in your cooperation?
Yeah, there's 15 that were originally planting with us. We have kind of scaled back just because of the way that the hemp industry has gone. There's been obviously the oversupply that most farmers are still working for. So, right now actively growing, it's pretty small. Like last year, we only had 1 or 2 different farms that we reached out to and said, do you want to help grow? So really, again, the goal is how do we get bigger outlets for our farmers so we can continue to have them grow with us because the desire is there. But we are definitely at a place where, the farmers have invested and kind of showed their quality. They know they can grow, we can grow, but, at this point, we're not going to grow more until we have some solid contracts and things like that.
Right. So what are some of the products that you guys have developed, with the CBD, and tell me a little bit more about, why you think your product is, more superior and,
Yeah. We've developed kind of into a wide variety of CBD and Delta 8 products because that's kind of where the market and what people were asking for. So, we have our standard tinctures and salves. A few of those are, pretty standard, just high quality, products that we've created. Some of the more unique ones would be, we have a cold press tincture, which is really cool because it doesn't use any heat or solvents in the extraction process. So if you're looking for something that's very all natural, holistic, we offer that, and a few companies out there are doing that, but that's one that's a little more unique. And then we've done some blending actually with Delta 8 and CBG and Delta 8 and CBN to create, similar effects to like an indica sativa experience. There's a few other companies I think doing similar, but again, we're kind of leading in our own little way of trying to blend these minor cannabinoids to, benefit different types of, I guess, what people are looking for in their medicine.
Right. Amazing. So as you are growing, I see, you're trying to really help the farmers as far as, getting a fair wage for, the farmer. Can you tell me a little bit more about those efforts and what you've been trying to advocate for the farmer?
Yeah, so like I said, a lot of the 2020 crop and even 2019, we still have stored here basically because we held the line and said, we don't think it's fair to sell this biomass at the current prices the market is offering, which is anywhere 75 cents, 50 cents. It's getting up there now to $1 to $2, which is good. But we still are firm believers that $5 a pound for biomass is fair to the farmer. So that's kind of what we're working at right now. So we have biomass and we also have kilos of isolate. I've priced those out. I've done different kind of, I guess, like 1-page structures to show, costs from a seed to a kilo. I believe in transparency because I think that's the way that we can all work together. If we say, hey, here's our cost as a farmer, here's how much, labor and time it takes just to get to this product. And this is the why, this is why we feel like we need to ask this price. And it's always done within reason as well, because, everything's two-sided. There's the, the farmer side, but then there's going to be the, the purchaser side. So everyone needs to feel good about it. And that's been the approach is how can we make farmers feel good because they're actually getting paid a fair wage, and then also, pass that medicine along at a fair price.
Right. So where are you at now with that? What are some of the obstacles that you faced, and how are you trying to navigate that to be able to get it into the broader market to help continue the growth with the farmers and also keep that, price structure intact that
Yeah.
supports that?
Yeah, to be honest, it's been quite a tough road because in order to lead, you have to be the one, to step out and kind of take that first initiative. So we haven't sold, I don't know if I've sold a kilo of isolate in the past year, to be honest, because, we're asking for a price that is way above the market.
Hmm.
But again, the market prices are based on, kind of buying bulk biomass at a very cheap rate that doesn't support sustainable farming. So we're
Right.
saying, hey, if you want to support sustainable farming for the future, this is what the price structure looks like. The struggle is most companies, they're not willing to share those profit margins. The bigger corporate companies that could step in and do, an order, they're going to go elsewhere. I've had great conversations with companies, that are looking for thousands of kilos, but in the end, they choose to go for the cheaper price rather than a long-term sustainable, because they're not willing to kind of share those profit margins.
Right.
So it's a tough spot to be because we're asking, in order for change to happen, I was thinking about this, something has to change, something has to be sacrificed. There's a give and a take. At least from my perspective, the farming community has kind of given and gone the extra mile as much as we can.
Hmm.
So we're really looking for companies that are, looking at a bigger vision. They see that and say, yeah, we need to adjust our pricing. We need to be paying, the farmers more for this.
Right.
We just haven't found any companies yet, to be honest. And that's really what I'm trying to do is get that word out there and share the story to say, who wants to build a real long-term sustainable industry.
Right. But besides, looking to sell it in bulk, you've also created your own products that you're selling yourself in the marketplace as well, right? I mean,
Yeah, and kind of the idea behind that was, if we're not able to sell it bulk and get the prices to support our farming community, let's do it via retail items.
right.
So that's why we just kept breaking it down to say, yeah, if we go all the way to a single tincture or a single cartridge, we can get a better price there. And then we're able then to funnel that back, into the farming community, which is another way to support it. And it has been, working so far. So that's kind of our other trajectory is get the Lancashire brand out there. Here's a way that if you're a consumer or a company looking for a retail brand or products, you can support a farming community and feel good about your product and where it came from.
Right. So what is the local landscape like there as far as the interest in CBD products, on the retail side, just from the local market in Pennsylvania?
Yeah, we're a pretty busy market here. Pennsylvania has a pretty active hemp industry. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of local farmers, so there's a good bit of small brands. So that makes it even harder. Like if we
Mm,
do travel outside of PA, I've noticed there just isn't as much of a buzz, or there's not so many brands. So we are in a saturated area, I guess you could say. Trying to establish our co-op, establish our brand. And again, it's, one step at a time, but it's been a good journey.
yeah. Amazing. So what do you see, in the next 3 to 5 years? What is your vision or the ideal for Lancaster Farms, and then what you see or hope for, in the industry as a whole?
Yeah, man, that's a big question because I'm, like I said, I'm a visionary. So I've got lots of, big dreams and visions. And part of why I wanted to start Lancashire in the first place is a true desire to help be, I guess, a beacon of light in the world, to be a source of love, to be a source of goodness. So that is always the overall picture is how do we take Lancashire and use it for good in the world?
Hmm.
That's kind of the trajectory is let's do that and create a local economy that can support hemp farming here in Lancaster. And then we'd also like to be able to share that same model and hopefully, expand with other partners throughout the world. Um, I'm in discussions with a group right now out of Ecuador, and they're very interested in, basically joining the cooperative and being an
Awesome.
Ecuador branch. And I'd love to be able to do that. And we're having some really good talks. But, in the end, it comes down to, well, we first have to have an outlet for our local farmers here in our backyard
Right.
before we can, add another backyard. But if you're talking about the big picture, that's kind of what I'd like to do is, can we create Lancashire to be a space for other farmers, to come under the umbrella because they know they're going to get treated fairly and get paid fair pricing. So I guess that's what I'd like to see Lancashire grow into more and more is, how do we create our sustainable business via our retail wholesale brands that can then funnel back to farming communities all over the world.
Right. Awesome. That's amazing. So
Yeah.
what is your next steps for this year and this season? What is your guys' main focus right now?
Yeah, right now we're kind of just still really trying to build up the brand because, like, we've been discussing, it's the kind of the quickest way where we have control to say, hey, we sell these products, we can get a fair price and pass that along.
Right.
So we're focused on expanding the brand this year. And we're definitely at a spot where we feel, we're ready to go out into a broader market. So that's a big one this year. And then, of course, we'll be doing some growing. We're going to do 2 different grows this year. So we'll be doing an autoflower grow early this year. And then we'll also do a, field grow late July, August. So those are kind of, our this year goals is do some planting, do some good growing, continue just to share the brand and the story, and hopefully be, again, that beacon of light for a change and starting some movement in the industry.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Caleb, for taking your time to be on the show. And I know it's growing season now and it's busy, but
Yeah, no worries.
maybe we can end just with one last question. Maybe something that you have on your heart that you want to share or to motivate other people who are in the industry, and just any last words that you kind of want to help to inspire others.
Yeah, it's always a great question to ask, and there's always so many things that I would want to share and say, but for other farmers out there, it's just find a way to connect with other farmers, because I can tell you from personal experience that has helped us here locally in Lancaster. We've been able to connect as a farming community and find support with each other, because it is always hard to walk any tough road alone.
Right.
So I'd say you're not alone. There's lots of little pockets of farming communities. I've had good conversations with some, and so just be encouraged to connect and find the right people, and keep
we
going.
can grow bigger when we grow together, right?
Yeah, it's all about connecting with real people and like-minded.
Awesome. Well, Caleb, we wish you the best for this season coming up, and for growing the brand and supporting, thank you for supporting the small farmers and what you're doing to kind of create a standard to support the farmer. Really appreciate your work.
Yeah, thank you. And again, we create change by doing it ourselves. So if you're out there and you're looking for partners, please feel free to reach out, and it's always good just to stay connected.
Yes, for sure. Thank you, Caleb.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you for listening to Hemp Foundation Talks. Hemp Foundation is a nonprofit social enterprise on a mission to provide solutions for our current ecological crisis. Hemp Foundation and their brand Uki has created a value chain from village farms to the marketplace, utilizing the many benefits of hemp to overcome deforestation, fight plastic pollution, and support regenerative practices to heal our earth. The foundation supports over 250 small village farmers in the Indian Himalayan region. In addition, they employ widows and women in the production of over 500 hemp products for the marketplace, from clothing to food to hemp bags, a large range of textiles, embroidered fabrics, home goods, and even hemp bioplastic. To learn more, visit hempfoundation.net.